This podcast is part of the Pull Up a Chair podcast network. Let's build community through connection, conversation, and collaboration. This podcast is sponsored by Ep11 Consulting, editing with a purpose. Check them out at ep11consulting.com for a free consultation. This podcast is part of the Pull Up a Chair podcast network. Let's build community through connection, conversation, and collaboration.
I never wanna get used to the sound you whispering in my ear.
Hey friends, you're listening to the Cat and V Show. Pour yourself a juicy cup of tea, grab a seat, and get ready for us to dish.
Hey everybody, we're just going to jump right into this episode. Cat got TikTok famous a couple weeks ago, and it was like over a 3-day span.
I wouldn't say TikTok famous. I currently have 145,000 followers on TikTok.
Okay, let's rewind a little bit and tell them the story of how within 1 week you went from like tens of followers to thousands of followers.
I just followed a bunch of these quote unquote TikTok experts, and I kind of collected their expertise and like some of this and some of that. I also had another friend who like blew up herself on TikTok, and she gave me a lot of her own personal advice. Like there are certain things you can do, like post 3 times a day, and different tactics such as like talking to your audience and say like using pronouns like you, and like as if you are talking directly to a specific person, the person behind the camera, right? So that's one thing that I started doing. And it's funny enough, it's just like, I almost feel like I copped out because the post that I went viral from was what's called a duet. I don't know who's listening to this, but like a duet on TikTok is like when you can basically split screen with a different existing TikTok, and then you can voice it over, you can talk, or you can interact with it in any sort of way. And what I did was when I saw this come onto my feed, I was like, whoa, I didn't know this. It was like basically the international sign for help, which is very useful in situations of like kidnapping and human trafficking and stuff like that. So obviously it was like very important information. And I felt like I wanted my audience to see that. So I duetted it and voiced it over and explained what was going on in the situation from like through my own words. And in like a day or two, that specific TikTok just blew up. And I'm very glad it did, because now more people know this very important piece of information, which was the whole point of me sharing it. But like I said, I felt like I copped out because it wasn't like an original piece by me. It was more like, it was almost like a collaboration in sorts. What my social media coach is telling me is that they came for the post, like they came for that post, but then they went to your profile and saw who you were and decided to follow. So that's kind of what I'm just telling myself now. It's like, okay, yeah. And it's like this post that I made is like, it's part of a series that I'm doing as I see important information that comes via TikTok to me. I like want to duet more important messages, give people that platform to talk, like lend my platform to other people to tell important things, to talk about important things basically. So that's basically, and it became a series, and now somehow I went from like 2,000 followers to 145, and here we are.
So you're up to 145,000 followers.
Yeah.
Damn.
But the algorithm is so weird because TikTok picks up different things. I'm still learning a lot about it. Some of my videos only get like hundreds of views. Some of them get thousands of views. Yeah, it's just like, it's a game. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. I made one that's really funny that I'm going to post tomorrow that I showed you earlier. Do you remember it?
Oh, is that the one where you had that voiceover that was all like, I'm not thinking about it. I'm not thinking about it.
Yeah. That's that one. I feel like I'm getting better at these type of things. And my whole thing is that like whatever content I choose to share, I want it to be helpful in some kind of way and empowering or just important. Like I want my content to make a difference in people's lives, right?
Yeah.
So.
And you're posting a lot too, aren't you like 3 times a day?
Yeah. Some of it's like more quality than others.
That's a lot of work right there.
I have a mixture. It is a lot of work. And that's why, I don't know. TikTok supposedly has a caption feature that they've only rolled out beta for some people. And like, I like to have captions on my videos because of people who like hard of hearing or like some like impaired in some kind of way. I want them to be able to consume my content. So right now I manually put in captions and like, because I have ADHD and I just I miss certain things. I like always end up watching it again. And I'm like, oh fuck, I have a typo. Why didn't I fix that? Like, so, and it takes so long to caption the videos. Like as soon as somebody like comes up with a faster way to caption like videos in a way, like I there are apps for it, but I don't like them. Like I just don't like the way they look. Like, cause the text is not, yeah, I prefer using the text on TikTok. And if it were like, you know, native to the app, that would be ideal for the situation. That would make my process of creating content much shorter and easier. Right now, I'm just like playing with the short form videos. It's what my thesis is about too. I came up with an acronym.
Oh, what is your acronym?
It's REAL, REAL. So like real content, right? And R stands for relatable. So you want to be relatable and you want to talk directly to your audience so that they feel, so that you seem more approachable to them and they're more inclined to engage with you and your content. Then E is for engagement. Like you have to make your audience feel excited about listening to what you have to say or what you want to share. Like, so a lot of these TikTok experts will say like, try to come off as like high energy or something like that. And what I'd advise is like, yes, come off as high energy, but also, be yourself, right? Which comes to A, authenticity. A is authenticity. So it's like, be vulnerable, and V, just be yourself because there's nobody else like you out there. And the more you are comfortable with yourself and who you are, the more inspired your audience is going to feel and more interested they are going to be about following you and like getting to know you better as a creator and a person. And L, which is my reach. It was lazy because people are lazy as hell and they want their information fast, okay? Like they want their information easy to consume and fast. So it's like, think about how fast you can get, like how, like the most simple way and the fastest way you can get your message across to your audience in like a short period of time. Cause you know, as many people know, it's like, it's like you work in like chunks of like 15, 30 to 60 seconds. That's generally how it works, because Reels, which is like Instagram's attempt at like being TikTok, right? Mm-hmm. Their limit is 30 seconds, whereas like TikTok has like, they have the threshold for 15 seconds and 60 seconds. I don't know. I think that when you're first starting, it's better to keep your videos short because it's easier to consume, right? Mm-hmm. Unless you're part of a niche that's like art or something like that. I think that like if you don't really have time to do art as much anymore, do you?
No, I haven't done a piece of art in like 3 or 4 months.
No. You were doing so well with that for like a few months.
Yeah, but then the podcast network took over my life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you decided to take on 2 podcasts this month. Like, it's just like, yeah. Yeah. And it was just like, I couldn't like, I can actually like grasp the idea of it better now. And like, as soon as I have that, like I won't have school. It's like school just takes up a lot of this like emotional and mental energy for me. And I'm trying to figure out how to combat that, because what I recently learned, as I've talked about before, is that like ADHD is a lot more consuming of a disorder for me than I even considered. Because I always knew that I had it, but then like, especially like, that's another amazing thing about TikTok is that like, there are communities of people, like there's like ADHD TikTok, where it's just like people talking about ADHD, people who have it, experts that talk about it, like all this stuff. I learned all these things about myself through watching like these experts and like psychologists talk about like different symptoms of ADHD and like how they affect you and like what you can do to combat that. So I'm like slowly learning these skills to, I don't know. I just feel like I'm this hyper ambitious person that has like no direction, like 80% of the time. And it's just frustrating as hell. So frustrating.
But you're getting a direction.
God, I hate myself sometimes. Just kidding. I love myself, but like I also hate myself.
You're just a little extra. That's all.
The extras like doesn't even encapsulate like a tiny bit of it. It's not even extra is not even the right word. It's just like mess. Like I'm so messy. It's not that bad right now. Jordan, oh my God. I feel like I should have talked about this in our last podcast, but like he like will wake up early and clean up so that I'm not overstimulated with shit.
That's sweet.
Like, because you know how I am when there's like so much shit around me that I can't focus. He'll like get up early and he'll clean shit, and it's just like the most amazing thing that I could ever ask for. But yeah, yesterday he cleaned and it's much nicer now than it was before.
And I'm sure it's a better space to do your TikToks in.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing about this space. I think maybe I should talk about that, right? I'm currently in a it's a studio, but there's like walls. But there's no door. So it's just like, I'm literally looking at this like aesthetic, like brick wall that's like unfinished right in front of me. And then then there's the closet, but the closet doesn't hit the ceiling. And then there's like a doorway, like a door frame to go from like the bigger space into the bedroom. And then the bed's in here. So technically there is a bedroom, but there's like no door. So it's basically a studio, but there's like a divider for the bedroom.
Oh boy.
And it's just like, whew, I miss having doors. It's not like, it's like during the day when Jordan has meetings, I have to be very quiet. And then, which means I have to plan like filming anything or doing any type of thing like that around his meetings. Including this podcast, which is why we are recording it at like 10:43 p.m. my time right now.
Which is not the most fun thing in the world.
It's, it's kind of what life is for me right now. This place is stunning, not gonna lie. Like, it's just super beautiful, not conducive for my lifestyle so much. It's just like we were talking about earlier, it's like this place would be great if the pandemic never happened and both of us had like jobs that were outside of the house, and then we came back to sleep together and stuff and like enjoy. With the way that life is right now, working from home, it's just like there's no divider. And it's not like Jordan and I need our space or anything like that. It's literally the fact that the fact that we need like soundproof because he's in meetings and I'm in like the place that I was in Alaska, like he had his own bedroom that he could sit and like do his work in. Like that was just ideal. Anyway,
lesson learned for the next place. There must be doors.
There must be doors, you know. And it's funny. It's great because I talked about this with him recently. It was just like, I feel like the pandemic really sped up our relationship to a point where it's like, when we do decide to settle down somewhere, we know exactly what we need and what we're looking for. like what this place has to look like, what it has to have. It has to have a bedroom with doors on it. No question. Like it's just, it has to. That is like the deal breaker. I don't care how beautiful the place is. There needs to be a door.
That's a great place to leave this episode at. People, you need to appreciate your doors. Appreciate the door. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Follow us on Instagram at The Cat and V Show. Check out our other podcasts, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Andrew. And I'm Christian.
And I'm Allie.
And we are Rad Theater, a podcast where a bunch of friends play role-playing games and share a single brain cell, and the GM doesn't always have it. Oh, and it's theater spelled the correct way, Theatre.